It's the morning of July 2nd, 1982. Patrick Webb hurries through campus at the University of California, Berkeley. His eyes dart left and right. He spots police cars, a crowd of students. There's yellow crime scene tape stretched across the computer science building. And everywhere, onlookers point and murmur. They all seem to be saying the same thing, that there was an explosion, a big one. It might have been a bomb. That's why Patrick Webb is here. Webb is a bomb expert who works for the FBI. He's 37 years old, and normally he has an easy smile. But today his expression is grim, because he knows the onlookers are right. This could have been a deliberate act of violence, and so he needs to move fast. Webb needs to figure out what exactly happened, and if there's any evidence of foul play, he and the FBI need to start looking for suspects before it's too late. Webb reaches the computer science building and flashes his ID. The officers move aside, and Webb ducks beneath the yellow tape. As he approaches the building, he's met by another FBI agent. The two enter together and walk up a stairwell. They exit on the 4th floor and head for the faculty break room. There, Webb pauses, and he stares in horror at the sight in front of him. Chairs lie tipped over, scorched. Debris litters the floor. There's a faint smell of coffee in the air, but it's overpowered by the reek of gasoline. Webb squats down and examines the floor. There are shards of glass and a metal pipe. He spots fragments of a battery and scraps of parcel paper. There's no question that this was a bomb. Looking at the scraps, this could have been a plastic can filled with gasoline. It would have been wrapped in parcel paper as a disguise. And for the detonator, a pipe bomb with batteries. When someone triggered it, the device would have exploded like one giant Molotov cocktail. Webb rises and turns to the agent who let him in. So, we had a victim? Yeah, a professor. He's got severe burns and might lose some fingers. Oh, God. Was there a note, anything? The agent hands Webb a Ziploc bag. Inside is a burnt piece of paper. It's a typewritten note. This is it? No ransom, no demands, just, woo, it works? I told you it would? No, nothing else. Webb grits his teeth and gazes across the destruction. He's never heard of a bombing case without demands. Most bombers ask for money, the return of a political prisoner, something, anything. This is bizarre, and not nearly enough to give him a read on the bomber's motivation. As Webb surveys the room, the other agent speaks up. This could be Unabomber. Unabomber? I heard about him at a conference last year. Remember that United Airlines bomb back in '79? Almost took down a plane in Chicago. That was Unabomber. He also mailed a bomb to an executive at United Air. What do airlines have to do with a break room at UC Berkeley? Well, that's where Unabomber comes from, the name Unabomber. We believe the same guy is also hitting university professors. Has sent bombs to Northwestern, Utah, Vanderbilt, so Unabomber, University and Airline Bomber. Webb taps his foot, stares at the agent. That's a weird connection. You think he did this? I talked to some lab techs at the conference, and this bomb here, well, this looks exactly like what they described. Webb exhales. If they're dealing with a serial bomber, then things just got a hell of a lot more complicated. But there's still something he can't wrap his head around. He turns back to the other agent. Now tell me something. He sets the explosive in front of a coffee machine. Yeah, right. Had in plain view, so anyone could have been the victim. Yep. He wasn't going after any single person. So no target, just a bomb in the break room. I don't know what the motive could be. Webb once again glances around the destroyed room. Then it hits him. Terror. He was going for terror. Webb squats back down and gazes at the debris on the floor again. He'll probably be here all night, and these may be the only clues he has to work with. It'll be tedious work. But if this is the work of a serial bomber, then Webb knows one thing for sure. There will be more explosions and more victims. So now Webb has just a single goal: to track the bomber down before anyone else gets hurt.
Hey everyone, it's MSNBC's Tremaine Lee. On my podcast, Into America, I explore what it means to be Black in this country. It's storytelling about politics, pop culture, sports, and justice, told from the Black perspective. Stay tuned for a special preview at the end of this episode, and search for Into America wherever you're listening now to subscribe.
Have you seen Ted Lasso on Netflix? Man, that was a great show. Light, funny, large-hearted, one of the best of 2020. But I've binged them all. I binged everything. I'm getting down to foreign language documentaries on flower pressing. But when I get bored with binging, there's always Best Fiends. Best Fiends is the infamously impossible-to-put-down puzzle game that's free to download, a stimulating problem-solving game that has you using your wits to save cute bugs from an invasion of greedy slugs. It's fun, colorful, full of characters that you need to collect to use strategically in solving challenging puzzles. And everyone loves a good puzzle. Best Fiends give me over 5,000 of them, with more levels, events, and challenges added all the time. It's binge-proof. So if you're losing interest in your streaming queue, remember, you don't have to choose between binging and boredom. With over 100 million downloads and tons of 5-star reviews, Best Fiends is a boredom buster. Download Best Fiends today for free on the Apple App Store or Google Play. That's friends without the R, Best Fiends. From Wondery, I'm Lindsey Graham, and this is American Scandal. Political violence is nothing new to America. These extreme measures have been the reaction to a wide variety of issues, from slavery to war to changes in the nation's economy. Those who commit political violence often believe that their actions are the only way to create change, but others only seek to create terror. Whatever the intent, political violence has cost countless lives and loomed as a specter during troubled times. From the late 1970s to the mid-1990s, America lived through one of these troubled episodes. A man named Theodore Kaczynski mailed or planted 16 bombs around the country. These devices injured 23 people and killed 3 and left a nation on edge. Known to the FBI as the Unabomber, Kaczynski railed against technology. He believed that industrial life had harmful effects on the human spirit, and he believed that technology was hurting the planet. He sought to change the world with his bombs. The manhunt for the Unabomber began in 1979. Over the course of nearly 2 decades, it would grow into the longest and most expensive case in FBI history. But despite what he'd become, Ted Kaczynski wasn't born evil. Still, his experiences in childhood and at college would leave him alienated and angry, and he grew determined to take revenge on everything he despised. This is Episode 1, Atomic Pearl. It's the spring of 1957. Ted Kaczynski stands in the hallway of his high school, watching students stream past. One after the other, they walk by Kaczynski, gossiping, laughing. Kaczynski stares at them, and his arms tremble. It seems like all the other students at Evergreen Park High School have friends. They all seem like they fit into a group. But not Kaczynski. No one seems to notice him. Not today, not ever. Kaczynski runs a hand through his hair and looks around. At least today, though, no one's picking on him. That's a small improvement. Kaczynski leans back against the locker and waits. He knows he has to be one of the most unpopular high schoolers in all of Illinois. Probably doesn't help that he skipped 2 grades. He's already younger than everyone else, and on top of that, he's small for a 14-year-old. And it also doesn't help that most people think he's weird and different. It's true, he likes to think logically, to argue. But every time he gets into these conversations, people seem to clam up and turn away. Altogether, high school has been a miserable experience. The only exceptions are science class and band. But that's not enough, and Kaczynski has made a decision. He's going to change things. He's tired of being a loner and being ignored by everyone. He wants to somehow feel like he belongs. And there's one person in particular he wants to get to know. Her name is Joanne. She's beautiful. Today, Kaczynski is going to make a move, and he's going to impress her with his greatest strength, his mind. Kaczynski reaches into his pocket and grabs hold of what feels like a small tube of paper. It's a firecracker called an atomic pearl, and he made it himself. At home last night, he carefully twisted a little piece of paper into the shape of a barbell. On one end, he placed ammonium, on the other end, iodine. When you untwist the paper, the crystals mix, and then they explode. Anyone who sees the invention will be wildly impressed. And there's one person he wants to impress most. That's why he's going to give the firecracker to Joanne. Kaczynski sees Joanne approach her locker. Her brown curls frame a heart-shaped face. Kaczynski walks up, and she looks at him with a weak smile. Then he reaches into his pocket and hands her the firecracker. Joanne squints at the gift, asks why she should open it. But Kaczynski says she just needs to trust him. Joanne is reluctant, but finally she untwists the paper. There's a sudden pop, and the firecracker explodes, sending a wisp of purple smoke into the air. Joanne shrieks and jumps back. Nearby students stop and stare. Joanne's eyes are wide open in shock, and for a moment Kaczynski feels his knees go weak. Suddenly, this seems like it was a terrible idea. What was he thinking? Joanne is scared, and now it feels like the whole school is watching him, judging. But then Joanne starts laughing, and Kaczynski feels the blood return to his face. He grins back. Pretty neat, huh? Joanne nods, but then she warns him to be careful. This could get him in trouble. Ted smiles and shakes his head. He says there's no way that'll happen. He's too smart to get caught. The two stand in silence, and then Kaczynski begins to feel lightheaded, because he knows this is his moment to make a move. He's not scared anymore. He has to take action. So Kaczynski blurts out an invitation. He asks Joanne if she wants to see a movie this weekend. She stiffens and stammers that she's busy this weekend. But Kaczynski isn't ready to give up, so he asks about next weekend. Joanne inches away, clutching her binder. She apologizes and says she has tennis lessons next weekend, and she should really get to class now. Kaczynski is about to ask if she's actually taking tennis lessons all weekend, but before he can get the words out, Joanne is gone. Now, alone in the hallway, Kaczynski slumps against a locker. He thought the atomic pearl was his best hope. He feels deflated, ready to give up. But he also knows he can't go on like this. He's a loner, without any friends or prospects for a girlfriend. He has to do something. Something else. Soon after Joanne walks away, Kaczynski hears the bell and takes off for class. But then he gets the feeling that he's not alone. Out of the corner of his eye, he spots a student from his chemistry class. A boy, 6 feet tall, with facial hair already. He's beefy and wears a letterman's jacket. As the student approaches, Ted cringes instinctively. He knows that something bad is about to happen. He hurries up, trying to get away. But the student hurries after him and grabs Kaczynski by the shoulder. Kaczynski goes limp as the boy steps in front of him. But then something completely unexpected happens. The big student shoots Kaczynski a big smile, and he says that Kaczynski is pretty smart. He saw that little bomb, and he wants to know how to make something like that. Kaczynski looks at the ground and asks if the boy is serious. The boy says he is. And so with his eyes still on the floor, Kaczynski starts to explain that it's not a bomb, it's just a firecracker, and there's a difference between the two. Kaczynski begins to explain, but the big student interrupts him. He says it doesn't matter. What does matter is that he's got a proposition. If Kaczynski can give him the recipe to make a bomb, he'll put in a good word with some girls. He looks Kaczynski in the eye and asks, "Is it a deal?" Kaczynski swallows. He wants a girlfriend more than anything in the world. So he looks up, nods, and then explains the recipe for a bomb. The student punches him in the arm and runs off, saying he's going to tell everyone that Kaczynski is cool. Kaczynski stands there, suddenly feeling a glow like some religious halo, because he knows that this is the start of a new day. A year later, a Pontiac pulls into the parking lot at Evergreen Park High. It sputters as it comes to a stop. Turk Kaczynski steps out of the car and looks up at the school building. He shakes his head, feeling annoyed. This building looks fine. There's no sign of damage from the event last year when some jock blew out the windows during chemistry class. The boy blamed it all on Turk's son, Ted. Remembering all those accusations and all of those school meetings, Turk still gets angry. But he's in a better mood today as he's back on campus for a different reason. Ted's band teacher, Mr. Roberto, has invited him to a meeting. Turk is certain that the teacher wants to offer some well-earned congratulations. Ted is only 15 years old, but he was just admitted to Harvard, the most prestigious college in the country. It's true that Ted has no real friends. Turk has tried to whip him into shape and called him sick